really are struggling with their mental health. Mental health struggles have happened over the years. I'm not saying that this is a brand new concept, but young women are struggling and reporting struggling even more so than they've been in the last several decades. That means what we're doing ain't working. So making this normal should not be done. Abort mission.
I think you just have to know your end goal.
Quite often, yeah.
Well,
That's what men do.
I feel like a lot of what you guys have been saying is very indicative of the type of men that you end up associating with.
Come on, sweater. Come on, sweater with something on it. Is that dinosaurs? Come on, sir, with the dinosaur sweaters. It is indicative of the men that they've been choosing to date. Yes. Don't put this on all men. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Samantha Lee here, and I just wanted to say hello and wanted to dive into some content with you, okay? I love doing these things. It's so much fun for me, y'all, and I hope you enjoy watching them just as much as I like doing them. I don't want to be doing them just for me. I want to do them because I hope it's entertaining and engaging and enlightening to you. So that's number one. So we are going to cover a clip from the Whatever podcast, from their Clips YouTube channel. But before we get into that clip, which is called Immature to Care About Body Count. Before I dive into that specific clip, I have to say this. If you like my channel, if you like me, if you like the content that I'm posting, if you like my opinions, I need you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you like what I'm posting, if it resonates with you, if my movement resonates with you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm posting content almost daily. Only day I take off is Sundays for the Lord. Otherwise than that, I am on here and I'm posting. And last but not least, I have put out a free ebook for you guys to receive. All you got to do is click the link in the description box. I need you to go ahead and click that, and you will not only be able to get my free ebook that I put out there because we hit 100,000 in under 4 months, y'all. Okay? Amazing, incredible. God is with us. Gotta be. Otherwise, let's get right into it. Immature to care about body count. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? All right, let's get into it. I know that we can do it. Let's go back.
Should we talk about body count? Body count, should body count matter? Yes or no?
Tell you mine.
Oh, is it?
No.
What's your body count is what I want to know.
Yeah, what is yours?
I would love to know.
As a man of God, I do not reveal my body count.
Here we go.
What a cop-out.
Why do you expect
my
a woman
body
not to
count
have
is
any?
like that.
Yeah, I
Body
prefer
count doesn't
women.
It doesn't matter to me.
What's your body count? You gotta tell us.
I'm not going to share it, but I prefer
What
women.
does it bother you?
Are you a virgin?
See, here's the thing, y'all. It wouldn't matter to you. At least it has never really mattered to me what a man's body count was. I've never asked that on a date. I've never asked that in the process of a relation. Well, no, that's not true. I have asked it before, but it was never something that was weighing on my decision-making of that person. That's me, considering men. It is different when men are considering women. We cannot make it the same process. Men vet women differently than women vetting men. It's just what it is. But let's keep going.
Virgin?
Slept with
No.
over 30 men.
Okay. I'm not a virgin.
Are you sure?
So
Brian.
multiply by 3, it's
That's
at
a
least
big old
3.
double stand. Brian,
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
why does it bother you that I've slept with so many men? Why?
Have you?
I want to know why.
Have you?
She said before, Brian, you missed it. She said, why does it bother you so much that I've slept with over 30 men? That's what she said before, Brian, but you didn't hear that part. The issue isn't about him unless you want to get with Brian. If Brian's vetting you out for a relationship, that may be something that makes or breaks his decision about you. And at the end of the day, he is, and just like a lot of other men, is taking that into account. Why do we fight this so much?
I think you
Yes,
explained
I
earlier.
slept with a good amount of men. So why would you feel uncomfortable about that?
She said over 30, but she doesn't want to repeat that because she knows that it matters. I can't say for her to actually be bold and say, I've slept with a good amount of men. And she said she said an actual number. I don't know if that's like really her real number or not, but that's pretty bold. So
He explained earlier why
What
that
is
matters.
You just can't stand the fact
'Cause
that
it's gross.
dick's
He was
been
saying
inside
it was
me? Like, that's
gross.
gross. That sounds very immature. Like, what is it really?
But it's
Well,
not gross if
it's-
your dick has been in a lot of vaginas.
Like, what
True.
does that mean? And no, it's
True.
not STDs because
how is that immature? Can somebody comment below the definition of immature? So he's immature because he takes into account how many men you've been sexually tied to? Make that make sense. How is that immature? Y'all need to look up words, use them against people. Look up the definition and then decide, does this fit the context? Immature don't fit the context. Does it serve your purpose or does it make you look good to that man? No. Okay. Just like there's men that may not date me because of my age, or they may not date me because I'm mixed, or whatever they may be. There's a lot of, it is what it is. If he don't like it, cool, then you just move on. Why does it have to be attack Brian because Brian may not like you because you done slept with more men that he's comfortable with? Although he didn't say that, I'm just saying, why is that? Why do you attack Brian for his preferences? Brian didn't attack you for yours.
That doesn't mean I'm f***ing other people while I'm having sex with you. I don't have an STD currently, so.
I mean, but didn't you say that you're currently sleeping with one guy and dating 3 to 4 total?
Talking, texting.
That would already disqualify a girl, because even if you weren't sleeping with any of the other guys, if I know a girl's dating 4 other dudes, I'm just not going to pursue it.
Why? Until maybe I want to actually wait and see who I really like and with.
It's really not that hard to date just one person at a time. Maybe that call me old fashioned.
Of course not.
But,
I've done that my whole life.
And that's why I think people get so stuck in situationships, and why people are so dissatisfied with modern dating is this.
Side note, does he have a Band-Aid on his nose? I'm sorry. I just was wondering if he got a Band-Aid on his nose. Was that just me? You see what I'm talking about right here? Oh, well. Nonetheless, I digress. Let's keep going.
So many options, or illusion of options. I think people ought to date one person at a time. If it doesn't work, fine, move on to the next one. But you got people who
I'm
are.
at the point where I don't want to be hung up.
I like that though.
I don't want to get emotional.
But that's your problem. Then that's why you can't find
Yeah,
somebody,
right
because
now.
like what Brian is saying, if you're dating multiple men, then you're not giving 100% to that one guy, so you're automatically not getting 100% back
Well,
either.
you'll get it when you know they're giving you 100%.
If I'm treated
That's
like an
not how it
option, I'm going
works.
to treat
You-
her
you
like
gotta
an
show
option.
up.
That girl, that is not how that works. How somebody gonna give you 100%? You gonna give them 100% once you realize they're giving you 100%? No, you won't. There's 4 dudes in your phone. One of them you're sleeping with, 3 other ones you're just texting and talking to. No one's getting 100% of your time and energy. Why would any of them decide to put that into you? And then you said, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready to put all my emotions into a guy. I don't want to be emotionless, which brings out my other point, y'all. I don't think that women truly, in their most pure form, can be sleeping around like that. I just don't. I don't think we were created to do that. That's what I believe. I believe God has divinely created us in a specific way. And I don't think it's for, promiscuity. I just don't. And so with that being said, you said, I don't want to be emotional. So I've connected myself with a bunch of different dudes so that I don't get attached to one. Exactly my point. You've now had to train yourself and use other distractions to keep you from getting emotional, because your natural intention or your natural instinct is to get emotional. Number 2, you also said that, hey, I've slept with a good amount of men, but I've always been dating one-on-one. How does that work? How do you don't look very old. I mean, no offense, I don't know how old you are. That's the math ain't mathin'. That means that you have spent a lot of your time just basically dating a lot of different guys. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's your preference. If that's what you like to do, why are you mad at him for what he likes to do? Because here's the thing, I'm not the judge and the jury. I am not God. I'm not here to condemn you to anywhere. This is me just pointing out certain fallacies that are being stated in different videos about this specific topic.
You gotta show up first.
That's like,
To
I
get
want to go
100.
in, I'll go in.
I'm agree with you. I wasn't that point when I moved to America, because I did it before. Like, if I'm dating with you, like I only dated with you, and I came here and I'm like, oh, that's not gonna work here, because guys like really doing the same. I'm like telling them like, oh, so I'm like to do everything like faster. We dating only each other, and they're like, oh, I can't do that. I need to choose. I'm talking with that girl. And I just realized like how everything works here.
Mhm.
But obviously when I'm like go on a date with the different guys, I don't want to sleep with everybody, but ended up like, yeah, you choosing. You need to
You're weighing out your options here.
But I think a lot of, especially nowadays, people are dating multiple people without having sex with them, because they've been in a shitty relationship or situationship where they have trust issues with themselves and with the person that they're dating. So they're like, okay, just in case, let me keep this one in a basket and this one in a basket, in a different basket, just in case if one doesn't work, they can go to the other. And that's where kind of like anxiety and like trust issues and things like that kind of come up.
This is where I don't have anxiety. Me talking to multiple guys. I said talking to multiple guys doesn't give me anxiety right now.
This is like the root of the problem, though. I've been with not the root of the problem. I've had many boyfriends
Like I've been in relationships my whole life. I've
Right.
never
No,
been
but
the
my
one to
point is
date
that your
around.
fear, and not to put you on the spot, but your fear and insecurity that's putting you in a position where you can only have surface level relationships with a few guys is preventing you from getting a deeper one.
Exactly.
Like when I was,
Girl, don't say exactly, because that's not what you were saying. Again, we go back to this idea of healing, all right? So you haven't healed. You've dealt with a lot of different things in relationships. You've been hurt by somebody. You gave your all to them. You've been disappointed. And so now you're having surface level relationships with multiple men in order to not get deep. Okay, but that is the problem. That is the issue with modern dating. It's a very transactional situation, and women are giving themselves away for very little or for free to men that couldn't pick them out in a lineup a week later. That is problematic. There's no justification for that. That's a very sensitive thing. We're like, oh, I want this kind of guy, and he's got to have all these standards and meet all these different criterion when you are just giving yourself away. Like, how do you treat your body like it has absolutely no value? So one man gets it for free, no effort, no nothing. But this other dude who you really like and he meets all the criterion, he got to jump through hoops and do all this different stuff to get the same thing that this other guy got for absolutely no effort, no energy, no emotional investment because you weren't in that space anymore. No. You know, again, broken people. That's really what it boils down to. People who have not done their healing, people who have not taken some time to say, listen, I need to heal so that when I show up in my next situation, I'm not bringing the baggage from the last. Right now, 4 different dudes are paying for the sins of a man that ain't got nothing to do with them. And now you've diminished your value because you didn't heal. You just giving it away because you didn't heal. Let's start there. Let's keep it 100.
Right,
when I was in
just under my
college, I had
period.
the same mindset. Like I want to,
I'm in my
you know,
whole phase.
well, yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean, I wanted to date multiple girls at a time, have the whole rotation thing. But I realized after a while that that was actually mostly out of insecurity. And there was a moment in my life.
That's good. Very good, sir. Thank you for being open to sharing your feelings and also being open to share your experiences in such a transparent way. That really you sleeping around with multiple women was because of insecurities, not because of anything else. And so I think that that's a really great thing for you to say. Like, I think that's a great thing to share.
Where I was like, wouldn't it be nice if I could just be happy with one girl?
I've had that multiple times. I guess I'm just in a different headspace.
No,
right
that's
now.
How
exactly
does it
what I'm
work?
saying.
Like, I'm super straightforward. So most of the time, I'm like, okay, do we like build in right now the base of the future relationship? Coming up with that idea. And then, like, I'm not sure I'm ready for that. Most of the guys telling me that. I'm ready to date and one guy and like focus and give all my energy, but they're like kind of
They're
like scared of a
everywhere.
relationship or like
Yeah.
scared
Yeah,
of
I mean,
commitment.
Many.
But I would honestly look at that and ask yourself, like, are you really ready? I
I'm
don't.
ready mentally and emotionally for a relationship.
What about you, Lexi?
I'm not ready right now.
You're not.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're
Yeah.
sleeping with one guy and you're dating 3
Yeah,
to
I'm
4.
not ready. No, I've been in a couple
So
past, like
commit.
I said, I've been in these relationships. I'm not, no, and I'm really focused right now on my shit.
I think it's perfectly normal to date around a lot. I've been in relationships with guys who've had multiple girlfriends and know where they went wrong and are able to do better because of that. And I've also dated guys that was their first girlfriend and they don't know what the they're doing because they've never experienced it before. And I feel like I'm teaching them. So I almost feel like it's better, in my opinion, from my experience, to be with people who've experienced other people.
Amen to that.
No, yeah,
one.
for sure.
You're saying you've had boyfriends who didn't have experience?
Yeah,
or-
I've been their first girlfriend, and then I've had boyfriends who've dated like quite a few girls. And usually it's better when they've had the experience. They know where they went wrong.
think
they're-
I think it's the opposite for men.
How do you know what you want if you don't experience different things? Because you could think you want something in your mind and then you try it out and you're bored
I
by
mean,
it. Or
You
like-
don't even know
never.
what's out there.
A lot
don't
of you
even
guys
know.
sound like you've had a lot of dating experience, and have you been able to find a good relationship?
Are you
Like-
guys
haven't found
religious
some-
at all by
I've
chance?
left
Super
a lot of-
spiritual.
most of them.
I think part of like finding, if you're actually interested in looking for a life partner,
Mhm.
is being open to leaving part of it up to whatever higher power you believe in.
100% I agree with
Because you're going to attract someone who's like generally what you want,
that. Mhm.
but they're going to have some that they got to deal
Yeah,
with.
nobody's perfect,
and-
right?
And people change
Exactly.
a lot.
I agree with that. And I feel like that's how I found my perfect match in a way, because I told the girls earlier, I was like,
I think that what we have to talk about, which I think his advice is good, you know, some level you got to leave it up to God. Absolutely. I think that a lot of women are saying, oh, I want this kind of guy. I want this kind of relationship. I'm ready for it. Everything I'm attracting is men that don't want this, aren't ready for it. And we attract what we are. We are what we attract. So there's people that you are attracted to and that you are entertaining and they are not looking for anything serious. That may mean one of two things. A, you're not presenting a package that they feel like they can commit long term to. Number two, or you're not ready. You think you're ready, but you're not ready. And so therefore you attract people that ain't ready either. There's where we have to do the work. There's where we have to do the accountability. It's not just men are not ready these days. Now, there are men that are not ready. I'm not saying that all men are, but there are men that really, really are ready and want what you want, but you overlooking them for the dude that don't want it. So that's on you. It goes back to choices. It goes back to what we entertain, what we engage with, and have we done our work?
I decided, okay, I'm healing myself. I love myself. I finally found like a rhythm within myself. And then again, you kind of just let it put the decision on somebody else too, like you were saying, either spiritually or religiously. And you kind of just continue working, every day towards becoming a better person, a better you without having to date around 24/7. Because I feel like I don't want to spend my time on dating and doing X, Y, and Z and talking and texting when it's going to be for nothing. Like, why spend my energy on somebody that's not going to matter to me? And then things happen and you find the right person.
Look, ultimately, it's really not that hard to date one person at a time.
No,
If it doesn't work, you can meet someone new. But I think people are getting into trouble. I don't think it's conducive to the development of a relationship if you're dating a ton of people at the same time.
But you can go on different dates and not be sleeping with them and stuff. You can just kind of see what you want.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. But then you also have girls that are sleeping with like 3, 4, 5 guys at the same
Correct.
time.
Teach
So that's
their own.
that's
If they're
why
okay with it,
really
their
think-
partner's okay
yeah.
with it. Who cares?
Honestly,
Most men-
Well, no. I do agree with women not full on committing to men, that there's been no conversation of a commitment or anything serious between the two parties. Like, I don't agree with women doing that, because I do think that women can commit to men that have never even said that they're remotely interested in being in anything serious, let alone being in anything serious with them. So I do think that there is value in seeing men and not sleeping with them. I don't think that you can really be impartial and give everybody a fair shot if you're sleeping with one of them. It just doesn't happen. Okay. So I think that it is good to date and see what's out there. And then when you like somebody, you start pursuing that and start, spending more time with that person or making the effort and energy to spend that more time with that one person. That should be the rule. Like, if I'm out here and I'm just trying to date and see what I like, yeah, takes completely off the table. You don't have to give yourself away to 3, 4, 5 dudes, to his point. That's how, women can have higher body counts, because you're sleeping with every dude that you're talking to and thinking that you're going to make a good decision. I heard a story recently about a woman that talks about she sleeps with every dude that she goes on a couple of dates with because means so much to her that she needs to know immediately off the rip they're sexually compatible. And I'm like, okay, there's better ways. There are better ways to figuring that out, okay? And there are safer ways to figuring that out. You giving yourself to I don't know how many dudes you dating. That cannot be good for your health. That can't be good for your spirit. That can't be good for anything. You just giving yourself away. And that's what I have the issue with the hookup culture, because we're now making that normal, thinking that, oh, well, yeah, we can do this and we can sleep around and we can do what men do. Well, we can't. We're not created the same, and that's okay. That's why we have a very lost generation of people that really are struggling with their mental health, which mental health struggles have happened over the years. I'm not saying that this is a brand new concept, but young women are struggling and reporting struggling even more so than they've been in the last several decades. That means what we're doing ain't working. So making this normal should not be done. Abort mission.
They're doing it behind your back, so
I think you just have to know
in
your end
LA,
goal.
quite often, yeah.
Well,
That's
and
what men do.
I feel like a lot of what you guys have been saying is very indicative of the type of men that you end up associating with.
Come on, sweater with something on it. Is that dinosaurs? Come on, sir, with the dinosaur sweaters. Is indicative of the men that they've been choosing to date. Yes. Don't put this on all men. Don't say every man is. No, the men you choose ain't doing right by you. The men you choose don't want relationships. That's the point. You are attracting a certain and entertaining, because you can attract anything, right? But you are attracting and entertaining the same spirit because you haven't healed. Because you haven't healed from the first spirit that initially hurt you. So you basically attracting the same spirit over and over and over and over and over again in a different body, because you haven't healed, because you haven't done your work. And now you're going to be sleeping with other dudes and you saying, well, I really don't care if women can do what they want. If that's what they want to do with their body and the guy is okay with it, then why are we so upset about it? And why do we No, here's the thing. I don't mind. I'm not going to judge you. You do what you want to do. Here's the point. Here's the very big point that I'm trying to make. This is not good for our younger generation to emulate. You may not care how that decision may impact moving forward. Don't make your decision like the model. This is how it should be, when in all actuality, it's detrimental to your own mental health and your well-being. That's my issue with it.
And I think even in a place like LA, like you're talking about a city of 10 million people, you might just be talking about a very niche demographic.
We're in the
that
industry.
The industry we're
that
in,
makes
exactly.
Us 10 times
Exactly
way
my
more
point,
difficult to date anybody, first of all. So,
But what I'm
you don't need
saying,
What industry are they in? I would love to know that. Like social media industry or
some random guy down the street normally know, and then you have people online that maybe might be a fan of yours, or you don't know who they are, or you meet someone with a check mark that's been in the industry that's so it's like,
I guess what I'm saying is, your own career aside, like you shouldn't be prioritizing what you're doing when you're looking for someone else, right? Like they have to have their own life, regardless of how it.
this guy spent $200 on what he was saying. He said, men want purity. I'm going to read it for you, sir. $200. You deserve this comment to be said. And so I'm going to say it in the reaction video. Men want purity. We are territorial, protective. We are conquerors, wanting feminine, unfettering females is in our DNA. We would die for the women that we love. A woman that is run through is not part of the relationship equation for us. She is coarse, vulgar, devalued, already conquered. Okay, Martin.
Aligns like professionally. I think a lot of the times I hear girls complaining about every guy is so trash when like they're sort of just dating a copy and pasted version with like a different haircut.
Come on, it's the same spirit in different bodies, sir, with the dinosaur sweater. Same spirit, different bodies. Because they have not healed, they're attracting this type of spirit. And it's just coming to them in different bodies. And they're like, oh, there's something about him. Something about him. He's not doing anything. He's not putting in any effort. He's not doing the bare minimum to get my attention, but I'm still throwing it at him. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. You haven't healed. You haven't done your work. Let's normalize doing our work. Let's normalize making healthy decisions. Let's normalize that.
Yeah.
The same base traits in a dude, you know, an emotionally unavailable and sort of like detached from reality in a lot of ways that I think you are, in that like you've had successful career in your 20s. And I think as an attractive person or a successful person when you're young, when you have that, you have sort of a removal of a necessity for accountability. And you have the ability to sort of say, this is who I am. This is what I want. What you want. I'm gonna put my foot down. And like, you haven't really had to ever, you know, put your ego aside and just be an adult for a sec, because you can afford the luxury of saying, you, I don't got to deal with this. I'm rich and I'm hot and I got my own thing going on. Like, move along, instead of taking a second to like check in with yourself and say, what am I doing wrong here? Where are the parts that I might not be stepping up to the plate in this relationship? And why am I consistently finding people that I don't connect with and that are mistreating me? Am I mistreating myself first and foremost? Am I not giving myself enough love? Because it seems like
Hello. Okay, dinosaur sweater. We dropping bombs today. Yes. I'm all about what he's saying. Absolutely. The Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. You can't love somebody else well if you don't love yourself well. And so if there's inadequacies and insecurities that you have not worked out within yourself, guess what you're going to attract? People that have the same thing, that haven't done their work, that haven't healed, that haven't found their way on the path to healing, or may not even want to, may not even be committed to. And to his point, she is a beautiful woman. There's a lot of beautiful women sitting in this panel today. And it saddens me because they don't know their value and they are so hurt. And because they're hurt, they're reacting to some of the things that are being said in a way that reads off to me, okay, you dealing with something. You've been hurt in a certain way. You're defensive of this action because you know how it translates. Like, if I felt like I wasn't doing anything wrong, would I care what this guy has to say about it? No. If I felt like I was completely in the right about what I was doing, I would not care what somebody else had to say about it. If someone was to say, so you gonna go to church today? That's what you're gonna do on a Sunday? You gonna go to church? I'd be like, yeah. Well, I don't think that you should be going. I'm not gonna get mad about that because that's what I do and can't nobody shame me about that. That's my conviction from God. So I'm not going to allow somebody's perspective or opinion about it bother me. That's like me saying to someone else, if I knew they were on a diet and they're eating chocolate, and I'm like, hey, I thought you said you gave up chocolate for your body goals. And they get defensive. Well, you know, it's been a tough day and I've just been going through so much. And so I decided, you know what, like with everything that's happening in my job and with my family, blah, 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 I was going to have chocolate. Okay. You're defensive about your action because you know you went against your own word. So your defensiveness in this regard tells me that you don't feel good about what you're doing.
I'm consistently, you talk about manifestation, it's magnetism too. It doesn't even matter what you're asking the universe for. It's what you're telling yourself too.
Oh,
it's about what it's about.
mindset, yeah.
It's about the relationship that you have with yourself. And I think a lot of women and men are caught in a loop of really just toxic relationships because they have a toxic relationship with themselves. And I
Come
think
on. I'm going to say, I'm not even going to give that. He said they find themselves in a cycle of toxic relationships because they have a toxic relationship with themselves. I'm going to say that one again. They find themselves in a cycle of toxic relationships because they have a toxic relationship with themselves, period.
I think a lot of what that comes from is totally not our fault. And like everybody watching, like we didn't ask for this, right? Like when I was in high school, I started using social media and became like painstakingly aware of the fact that there's just a million options at all times. And especially when you're in the industry or you're an attractive girl, like those options are just always available to you. And so it's been really hard for me to be monogamous and like lock in with people that would have been absolutely amazing for me, that had nothing wrong with them, you know? And that I was the one that fell short. I think that's where a lot of men fall short, is their lack of accountability.
Who is this man? The lack of accountability. I'm not snapping, but I'm snapping. Yes. The lack of accountability robs you from the opportunity of growing. And he's basically saying because y'all have access and because you have this illusion of options, you feel like you don't take accountability for your actions, or you don't feel the need to take accountability for your actions because there's just another dude and another one and another one. And you're thinking that, oh, because I get all these dudes messaging me, that must mean I have an endless amount of options or viable, good options. And that's not true. You got men that want to hit, period. Lots of them. They like you. Do they value you? I don't know. We don't know. Jury's still out. We don't know. Don't ever get too big for your britches, thinking that at one point, oh, well, da-da-da, you know, I'm pretty, I'm cute, and all these dudes gonna want me forever. No, that's not true. Nor do I want that to be true. Nor do I want my life to be a door of looking at Instagram and, oh, you know, this guy hit me up. Like you're saying, in a space of almost single and not starting a family and not being in a unit where you're building something with someone, you're distracted by all these different options, not unwilling to settle down. And then when you actually do want to settle down and the options come to a place of ending, because you know it's the same thing over and over again, now nobody really wants to take you seriously on that level because you done given yourself to so many different people that by the end of it all, you're depleted. You're trying to get people to see the value in you, and they don't, because you have not valued yourself enough to say, listen, I'm not going to conduct myself in this manner, even though everybody else is, because I got options and men want me and I'm pretty and I got money. So I'm not going, blah, blah, blah. That's so superficial. That's so superficial.
Same thing with women, you know, we really have gotten so much ego with no basis, and you have just a generation of people that are so blameless and act like they're God's gift to earth. We're all looking for the same thing. We want to be loved.
Yes, we want to be loved.
Everybody wants to be loved.
I think men need some work.
Okay, but women do too, and Lexi,
men just need to.
Great, and you're just God's gift to earth, right?
Because I've been an amazing girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have, but you've also been like consistently talking over people and not allowing space when people are having a dialogue. Like there are certain components of having a mature dynamic with someone that I think you could still work on. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you've gotten a co-spy and whatever, but like in order to get the relationship that you're shying away from by having these surface level relationships, you do need to like first do that work with yourself. And I don't mean like checking co-star. I don't mean like looking at tarot cards. I mean like actually just taking a look at yourself. And I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm talking to everybody. Like,
well, first off, he is coming for her in the nicest way possible. Number one. He let her know, like politely, you're saying men need a lot of work, but do you need a lot of work? You're taking absolutely no accountability. And you're sitting here saying it's all men's fault, all men's a problem. Men need to step up, men need to do this, that, and the third. Sis, you beautiful, you cute, but you're not going to keep no man with that personality. No quality man. You're not. Because at this point, although I like certain aspects of your personality, I think, you know, from this dialogue, it's just like you haven't been the easiest person to communicate with. You're extremely defensive. And you think because you cute, you can get away with it. Because people have allowed you to get away with it. Unsuccessfully, though, because you're not in a successful relationship and you're hiding from successful relationships because you're saying that the quality of men that you're getting is poor. The men that actually settle down with you, the quality of them are poor. So you have to start saying to yourself, what am I doing? Who am I? Where can I do the work in order to be the best version of myself, not only professionally, but privately? Because when it all fades, and all of this does, when it all fades, what will you have? It won't be your looks. Beauty fades. I mean, you may be beautiful for your whole life, but still it does fade. What's your character like? How are you an asset? Why would a man choose you outside of the superficial things that you've listed? He's talking about character, a woman of integrity. And then he's politely letting her know, listen, no, we all need work. It's not just men. Women need work too. And they do. And they do.
Self included. I think we all have been barraged with so much information that it has clouded us and clouded our ability to really even know ourselves. And you have to clear that shit out in order to be the person that you like need to be to have that partner. Because that's where I'm at in my life, right? Like I've consistently fallen short with relationships, or they've fallen short for me where it doesn't work. And I keep going, oh, they're just not right. They're just not right. They're just not right. But I think the reality is that I haven't really done that own cross checklist on myself, right? And gone, what type of person am I looking for? What are those boxes that I need to check? And what do I need to bring to the table? What kind of man do I need to be in order to attract that kind of person? Because it's not just going to come to you. You thinking that like manifestation only gets you so far. Application is what delivers results. You have to know exactly what you're looking for and what it takes to get that in order to manifest to that level, you know?
Listen, faith without works is dead. I can believe in myself. I can do whatever. I can, I believe it. But I absolutely have not done the work consistently, or an application to his point. If I have not done the work consistently, how do we get to the level that we're trying to get to without us actually putting the work in consistently? He's on point.
Manifestation is like real, true, genuine effort.
Man, that was, let me shake your hand, man. That was quite the
He went in. Y'all need to shake his hand. He went in. He saved some lives with that one. He did.
That was a great sketch.
Well done.
And I have a very similar journey too. Like I was super hurt I was hurting people and I didn't understand why. And I had such amazing men that were coming into my life, but really it came down to me. And I had to realize like I was not okay. And I had to do all this healing work to actually be able to like own my feminine and like love back. So it's been like a beautiful process.
Let me do a couple super chats that came in here. All right. Yo, Marquavius Martin. Sorry we didn't treat this as a TTS.
Guys, again, what I see and what I reiterate is that number one, women, we have to treat our bodies as valuable as we say that they are. Oh, we got this, we got that, we got this, but you giving it away because you don't want a relationship, or you've been hurt, or you're this, or you're that, or you are valuable. You are worthy. But how are you treating yourself that way? And we're going to keep going back and forth with this body count thing, because to me, this is what I don't like. Hookup culture. I don't. I see the damage that it's doing to our young women, where we're selling our souls for $1 and it's cool, and we putting it out there and we thinking that we should be proud of something like that. Absolutely not. No. And I don't want this next generation of women to internalize the message that we're sending. I don't. With social media and, like he said, this false illusion of options. Because we feel like we got so many options, we don't need to grow. We got so many options, we don't need to expand ourselves. You're allowing options to rob you out of work to have the quality life and relationship that you ultimately deep down desire. And you may lose out on the guy, because we can make choices to get out of the will of God, the perfect will of God. We make choices. God has given us free will, and you can choose your way out of his will. And you're making choices right now to get in, you're out of his will. Like, oh, well, what's for me, God's going to bring and it's going to be manifested to me. No, there's a certain level and commitment you have to yourself. There's a certain love that you have to have for yourself. There's a certain level of work you need to have for yourself. There's a certain level of accountability you have to sit down and really internalize to create a better and brighter future. That is what it is, period. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you guys. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button, y'all. Let's not just be every once in a while. Let's become family, okay? Friends that are family, okay? Join my family today.